Hey everybody, it's Palomino here and Scarlett. We wanted to give a little update on one of our latest projects we've been working on. It's a 1987 Terry Resort travel trailer by Fleetwood. It's a 22-foot model. Got a real good deal on this from a relative, and it's been a fixer-upper. We've done a lot to it so far, and kind of do a walk around of the outside of it, and also go inside and do a walk around of it. And we've already had it out camping in it a couple of trips now, and really are enjoying it. And anyway, we just wanted to share that with you guys, and give you kind of rundown of what we've done so far. See up front here, all the hitch and everything still in pretty good shape. I'm probably eventually get around. One of my later projects is going to be painting this framework black again. It's got a little mild rust on it, but not too bad actually. And up under the propane tank covers here, regulators for 2 propane tanks. All that works real well. I'm gonna paint that base plate for the tanks there, and all back black paint. The awning here and everything lifts up and props still, which is good. One of the things that we had to do to it right away, that when we got it, the wheels on it were rusted pretty bad. They had a lot of surface rust on them and were pitted pretty bad, and so took some Rust-Oleum gloss white paint and went over the rims, did several coats on them, and repainted them back white again. Made them look a whole lot better, and then did the hubcaps chrome with some Rust-Oleum chrome paint. Tires on it are actually in fairly decent shape when we got it, so we're gonna stick with those for right now, but it will be we'll be replacing them probably, in the near future. But they're in decent shape for right now. They're not too bad. When we got it, the patio or porch light, whatever you want to call it, for outside there was the lens was missing on it, and the bulb was blown. It didn't work, so we ended up with all the lights on here inside, and including this one up here, we got LED replacement bulbs for. So this was one of many lights that was broken and burned out, and then we put the LED bulb in. And I also got a new replacement plastic cover for it, as you can see up there, to go over it. It makes it be a little more weather tight, when it rains and stuff like that. Anyway, we'll walk around to the other side here and get a little back side. Anyway, the tail lights on both sides, they had filled up with a lot of dirt and stuff inside, and they were real cloudy and had mildew in them and spider webs and all that stuff, and was making them real dim to see, and so I took those off and washed them with soap and water and cleaned the bulbs and all that kind of stuff out in there, got all the spider webs out and dirt and everything, and so they're a whole lot brighter now. Makes it safer, when you're out on the road. People can see your brake lights and turn signals a lot better. We also painted the spare tire rim as well, and that turned out real good. And did it again with the Rust-Oleum gloss white. This back bumper here is going to be an upcoming project that I'm going to do. It's kind of got some surface rust. You can see there along the bottom especially. It's pitted out a little bit. I'm going to be tackling that coming up here soon with some gloss black paint, try and get that back to the way it was before. And like I said, you can see the rust and everything here. Some on that edge there, where that little door with the sewer hose is stored inside that bumper there, but I'm gonna do the whole bumper. So yeah, we got pretty much the back side view of it there. Storage compartment here, got lots of room in there. Swings up, got a bunch of stuff stored in there, the jacks and mats and hoses and extension cord, things like that, you know. Anyway though, this is the other side of it. You can see where we did the wheels on this side. It turned out real good. And we repainted the hot water heater door. Some of the paint around that exhaust vent there had burned off from the heat. And open that up in just a second here. Wanted to take and show you right there. That's the you know, identification tag is still intact, made in January of 1987. It's pretty cool, that's still there. Let's open up this hot water heater door, and this actually still works. It hadn't been lit in quite a long time, and so it's a little bit finicky at first to get it going, but once it did, it's done good for us on the trips that we've taken as far as heating the water up and all. So I've been pleased with that. Basically inside of here to the far right, you have a pilot light that you light, and you use this here, this blue dial. It has an off, on, and pilot setting, and you just turn it to pilot when you're trying to light the pilot light. And you know, eventually, you know, once the gas gets to it, you know, lights that up. And then when you move the dial to the on position, at that point the burner ignites off the pilot light, and works really well. And it cycles on and off, you know, based on the thermostat in it. Once it reaches the right temperature, you know, it cuts off and then cuts back on when it needs to. It's a 6.2 gallon tank hot water heater in here. Some of the information for it is still visible there, and some of it's naturally deteriorated, but there's still enough there to be able to tell what's what. And so yeah, that works. Shut that back. And then you have your fresh water, city water connection hook up there. This right here, naturally you have your power source, you know, you plug into. Got the extension cord hooked up right now for the lights and power tools inside while we're working. And this right here is the vent for the hydroflame gas furnace that's inside. I have not messed with that and don't plan to, just for safety reasons. I don't, due to the age of it, I'm probably not going to bother using that type of heat, because there's other supplemental heat source in it should we be camping in colder weather. So, but anyway, this is the exhaust for that. Comes out right there. And then here's your access panel for your refrigerator. Now, this one does not have the original refrigerator and freezer unit in it. It has a mini fridge in it that came with it when we got it, which for us it more than suits the purpose, you know, for what we're doing and our camping needs at this time. If we ever had to replace it, you know, if it were to give out, we would most likely consider you know, doing something like that. You know, putting like a more of a full size one that would fit the actual compartment that was like what would have come in it before, I guess. But like I said though, the one that's in there, it came with it and it works and keeps things cold, and that's the main thing. That's all that matters. So I'll show you down here at the gray water and black water valve. You have your black water is that valve on the left, and your gray water is the one on the right there. All that has been replaced by the previous owner, and it's got new PVC pipe behind it. The valves are new, all that stuff like that, so that's a good thing. Everything works real well. We've used it several times, and the valves empty good, and they seal off good, so I mean, that's, can't ask for any more than that. Thankfully that was already done before we got it. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the outside. See, does have air conditioner unit up top, Coleman Mach. It'll run you out of there on the hot summer days. But yeah, let's go on inside and take a little walk around tour in there.
Scarlet Rebel here. I'm going to take you on our inside tour of our camper. Alright, so walk in. You got your dining room table that folds into a bed. We'll show you how that goes. Oh, we got it.
And down in there you have your inverter and your fuse panel, which is right up under there. Cover back down. I had replaced a fuse. And
there's storage on this side.
then there's a storage compartment under this side as well. Got our Coleman camp stove in there. It's kind of not much light, but got that stored in there for now. You can see the table folds down in the middle there. I'm making a little bridge across the.
Then you pull these down as well.
And then the backs of the seat cushions come down and actually fill in at the back, you know, gaps. These two would be more in the middle here, but you kind of get the idea. That's just, you know, extra sleeping capacity. You know, if you have other family members or people staying with you, it gives you the option that they can have somewhere to sleep up off the floor. She's gonna put that back in place now. We use it though to sit at and eat at and that kind of thing primarily. So
there's the inside view of our little mini fridge. Had to do a new coat of paint on that. It was all scratched up.
the door was scratched up real bad when we got it.
We got this piece of paneling to cover a big empty space from the old fridge. A baby lock, our little improv to keep the fridge door closed when we're traveling.
Swing over.
This is the old, where the furnace would come out. We repainted that. We're not planning to use it, so it's fine the way it is. We have the stereo came with it. The speakers have been mounted over there. Ceiling's all taped off because we're painting. Don't worry about that. We also replaced some of these light covers because the old ones had been heated and burnt through, and put some really bright LEDs in there to replace the old ones that got super hot and burnt the covers. So new covers for that.
And all these lights up here too, by the way, when we got it, we put new bulbs in them. But this half up here, including the light outside the door there, wouldn't come on even when we put the new bulbs in. And we couldn't figure out what it was at first, and so we got to looking around in here and we found the fuse box panel that we just showed you up under that bench seat there. And one of the 15 amp fuses was blown, and so just went and got a new 15 amp fuse, put it in, they came right on. So that got our front half set of interior and exterior lights working in the camper, and that was a good thing that we didn't have to go and rewire anything, you know. So that turned out to be a relief there. Anyway, turn it back to Scarlet now.
The previous owners have put down some peel and stick to cover up the linoleum. You can see some of it still down here in the bottom, kind of an old yellow. Eventually we're going to replace it because, as you can see from all the heat, they've all separated, and you see the old one coming through. And our two dogs travel with us, so we want to make sure the floor is kind of as solid as possible for any water spills or accidents or anything. The kitchen has been one of my favorite projects so far. We redid the countertop, kind of. We kind of made it our own. It was just kind of a blah gray before. We put this granite shelf liner contact paper on, really dressed it up some, and we put on this backsplash along all the wall. Really changed the whole feel of the place. We got our storage overhead, dishes and such. Vent and everything works on the hood. It's very loud. Lights are good. Could use a nice cleaning. All the burners on the stove work just fine when the gas is hooked up. Got a stove, which we probably won't use too much. It'd probably just create too much heat in here for us. And turning it around over here, mirror to the bathroom. Here. Another Scarlet project was the wall here behind the sink. Put a nice tile there. We also redid this counter as well. We have plans to paint the sink and the tub white, get rid of that yellow goldish funk there. We painted the wall and ceiling in here a nice gray color, brighten it up. The wallpaper in here was kind of dated. Look at the pictures, you'll see what I mean. Lights in here. We had some, when we first got it, we had some plumbing issues that my uncle was so gracious to fix for us. We had a little flood in here, but it's all taken care of now. Got storage under here. New exhaust fan as well. That'll suck the air out of here really quickly. Shower curtain. And then back into the bedroom. It had one of those old accordion style curtains that went there, but it was falling down, so we decided to go ahead and remove it. And we may put up a tension rod with a curtain if we need to, but for the most part it's just us, so we don't really need any extra privacy. Smoke detector was falling down and dead, so we ended up just taking it down, replacing it with a smaller, more compact model. Got a full-size bed in here, some more storage space, second door, a little nightstand dresser there. We also recovered the top of that as well. Added a fire extinguisher. And there you have it.
So Palomino again, I took back hold of the camera. I just wanted to do a little brief overview of the Coleman Mach AC heat unit overhead here, which works really well. We're actually going to paint this the same color that we have the ceiling. That's part of, you know, what we're getting ready to work on next. We had to do the ceiling first and let it dry, and then we're going to go back and paint this to match that, so it kind of blends in a little bit better. But you know, basically you have your heat settings, your fan settings, and the high and low cool settings, and then your temperature over here. And I'm here to tell you, this thing will it will turn it into a meat locker in here if you have it cranked down. It's very surprising. I was, you know, just blown away at how well it cools. This right here is the old thermostat for I was mentioning earlier when we were outside showing the hydroflame furnace vent. This would have been the thermostat on the wall as it would have come in here, and basically, you know, you had your on off control there at the bottom, and then your adjustment up here for where you wanted it to be, and then this would show the actual temperature in here. But as I said, you know, we're not using any of that just due to safety reasons. I don't really think that as with the age that it is that I'm trust lighting this, which all this would have been behind here that is in there, but I repainted this cover, but you can kind of get an idea of what the furnace was like. And it was, you know, it ran off propane and all, but there was a pilot light back in that hole right in there, and that you would have lit, and you had your green knob there, as you can see, would be what, you know, controlled your gas flow to the unit. But as I said, I just wanted to show what was behind there, and it is intact, and it's hard to see it. The lighting is not, you know, not the best at the moment, but the labels are all still there and stuff. So that's pretty cool. But anyway, like I said, we have the auxiliary heat there on the AC unit, and I feel like for what we're times of year that we'll be camping and stuff, it'd be more than adequate. So we just wanted to give you a little tutorial, you know, tour of the outside and inside the camper of what we had done so far, and this is where we're at, and it's still very much a work in progress. By no means anywhere being where we want it to be finalized. So we'll be keeping you posted as we go along and tackle more projects, and just wanted to share it with you guys, and hope you enjoy it, and thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.
See you next time.